Welcome to the Purpose Chasers podcast, where those who refuse to let odds or naysayers stand in their way come to chase and catch their true calling. I'm your host, Mark Crandall. In each episode, we shine a spotlight on artists and musicians who dare to dream bigger. You'll hear the real-world tactical moves these Purpose Chasers have taken to carve out their legacies, and I'll break down the marketing strategies you can swipe and implement today. Let's dive in and start chasing our purpose. Don't forget to leave a follow on Spotify or wherever you stream from. Let's dive into this episode. Purpose Chasers, welcome back to this episode. I'm very, very excited to have a band that I am, I would say, a super fan of. I followed you guys pretty hard last summer, Ian. You saw me in the crowd almost everywhere, to the point that my wife made me stop this summer. I haven't gone to any music yet. Fence Post is on my list, but I don't know what my travel is going to look like this summer. But regardless, I fell in love with you boys last summer as you played set after set in spots on festivals that I was blown away. I kept going set after set. Why the hell are they in this time slot? Why did I have to walk so far to their stage? You know what I mean? Like, whatever the reason was, I anticipated and do anticipate seeing you boys on main headlines in the very, very near future, especially with the new direction musically, artistically, that I'm seeing in the band. I was surprised to go on Nugs, and I'm just not seeing my favorite songs like I used to, but I'm also excited about that. So welcome on, gents. Really, really good to have you.
Thanks for having us, Mark.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And for those listening, we have Ian, Sam, and Alex on with us. And for those of you listening, you should go watch, because this isn't staged. There's not a fan blowing, but Ian's hair is for sure blowing in the wind right now. I'm not kidding you. Like, you can't make this up.
It's a nice breezy day here, which I'm taking advantage of by opening up the window.
So one of the things that I wanted to touch on, really, to kind of get the foundation of the band, the reason that I was called to bring you on the Purpose Chasers, because a lot of people do music and a lot of people have a lot of fame and success. And I've seen and followed and studied a lot of musicians, artists, and bands. And the ones that I seem to get the most connected to their music are the ones who have such an engaged fan base. So the OTW, the One Time Weekend fan page that you have on Facebook, the group that you have on Facebook, is just one of the most engaging communities. How did the band start, and inside of the mindset of forming a community around? So you've built a following around your band, and I would say that you have a slow, really, really methodical rise of success, the way that you've wrapped your arms around your community.
Yeah, I guess I can take this one since I was there at the start. But I think a big thing for us was what was readily accessible when we were kids, because the band started about 10 years ago when myself, Adam, Ben, and Zach were in high school. Actually, Ben might have been in college at that point, but we started the band, and we were going to shows in the area and seeing bands like Twiddle play. And one thing that we realized was how closely knit like their fans were, and the community behind that. And so that was kind of a copycat situation where we saw that and we were like, okay, this works for them. We should try to build our fan base as well, and not only focus on the music, but also focus on the community element of it. And that's sort of like an ethos that we've carried on through Masquerade of Madness, like our bigger profile shows that we put on, any sort of online fan engagement that we have. If that answers your question, that's kind of where that started.
Those answer my question, and it also in my experience of seeing you gents live, the time that you spend with fans afterwards, during, it's a really humbling and also like it's a really, really cool experience to see you guys live based off of the way that you absolutely mount faces from the stage, but also the way that you interact with fans before, during, and after at your show experiences is what really, really tied me into you. So let's do a fast track here. And I want to get into as many fan questions as I possibly can. I don't know. There he is. And the hair is on point.
Hey.
Adam has joined. Welcome. I asked a lead-in question to get through some background so that we can talk about the here and now, because I brought you on purpose, Chasers, because of the community that I got wrapped into of One Time Weekend. And following you gents around last summer, I got to see you here, there, and everywhere. And not only did I get to see you, I got to really know you guys. And so the opening question that I gave Ian, that we're going to kind of kick the interview off into who you are now, which is a pretty magical musical experience from my Nugs perspective thus far. I have not gotten to see you live. I'm hoping that after this interview, my wife will clear me to go to something. Adam, the fan base that you have built over, as Ian just talked about, the last 10 years is something that really inspired me to want to reach out to get you guys on an interview. The way that you, all of you, not all of you, I'm not going to out anyone, but most all of you interact with fans before, during, and after shows is what really, really pulled me into your music. Do you want to touch on anything before we skim past that, Adam, since you just joined? I just hit him right in the head with a shotgun.
No, you're good. You guys can hear me, obviously.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't be a show if fans didn't come. And we have, especially like the fans that you see after like 2 or 3 shows, and it's you remember their face, and a month ago you saw them seeing you somewhere in Vermont, and then the next time they come and see you, it's in New York City. It's like, wow, like I don't know your name, but I know your face, and you're wearing the band's shirt, and it's like I want to say hi and just thank you for coming. And that just kind of like encompasses like the spirit of my answer is basically just, yeah, it's amazing to just see like the same people show up, start to lip sync to the lyrics as you play the songs. It's a really, really amazing feeling to know that your creative process and like the notes and music and the words that you put out in your music are reaching people, and it resonates with them, and it keeps them coming back. It's just a really, really cool feeling. And I would like to think that for all those people that I'm talking about that have come to like 2, 3, 4, 5+ shows, I know all of them and have had a deep conversation with all of them. Like, I'd love to say that I have done that. I have not. And that kind of like, it almost sucks. I wish I could, and just like thank them for what they do, and just thank them for continuing to show up. Cause it's like, those are the people that it's like, when we see those people, it's like the show's already a million times better for us. Cause we know that we're playing for people that care about our music and made the trip to come and see us. And that's, I mean, honestly, like that's like the spirit for us of playing a live show is like, hell yeah. Like we're making at least a minute difference in people's lives, as tiny as it may be. And that makes it all the worth, like it makes it worth everything, all the effort that we do in traveling and writing and everything. And it's a really amazing feeling.
I have a kind of an interesting perspective on this too, because I still feel fairly new to this. You guys have been doing it a lot longer than me. I kind of got catapulted into this at a time in my life where I wasn't necessarily looking to come out of my shell and meet a lot of people. I kind of got into it for the music and the immediate friendship here. And I was always that one, I got into it and was, kind of antisocial and sort of just wanting to stay back behind the thing and play the music and do the writing and be in the studio. And I can tell you very quickly after getting in. I mean, from the very first time, you can't help but be a member of the community. The community that has grown up around this band is so welcoming and so warm and so genuine that, you know, within 2 or 3 shows, I was feeling the same thing that Adam just mentioned, where you see the same people and they want to be a part of it and they're so enthusiastic about it that, you know, a couple years into doing this regularly, I now have a group of friends that I can call my friends, that's much larger than just the nucleus of the band. And it's really amazing to see that as you know, I don't want to say an outsider's perspective because we're all in this, but as someone who has not been doing it for 10 years, it's kind of amazing to see that. I'm sure, Sam, you have to have felt some of that already too.
Oh yeah, a whole lot for sure. Absolutely. And especially given my short kind of proximity to it all and time that I've been in the band, because I've only really been in the band since March
About.
ish. But it's been absolutely nothing but positivity and acceptance, which is huge, especially being a newer member to that community. It felt seamless. So it really only is a testament to the community that the guys have built over the past 10 years, you know.
Well said, gents. And I would say, Sam, this is really your intro, because this is going to go. I mean, you guys are about to, I mean, you're going to hit a lot of stages this summer and get to meet a lot of the barefoot folks that I got to hug throughout my, you know, my touring of One Time Weekend this last summer. I'd ask this one question, and the real point of this interview is, for me, I know a lot of individuals in your community. I've gotten to know a lot of people in the One Time Weekend, and I did do, you know, I did a questionnaire inside of there that Ian dropped, and he tagged me in there. I did one. It flopped inside of your community, probably because of the algorithms. And then Ian did one, and it did really, really well. And there's 14 questions from members of your community that I plan to ask during this interview. That's the whole focus of this interview. And I'm going to go back inside of your community.
14 questions.
Oh, it's going to be epic.
Yeah, wait.
It's three of them are tied to hair products, so it shouldn't be be all too difficult. And one of them's trying to pressure Adam and Alex into dyeing their hair red so that you guys can be the Soulless Four or something of that naming.
I'm already like halfway there. To my credit.
I just got 8 of them out of the way.
The Soulless Four. Wow.
That was a spontaneous name.
We'd have to get Ben down on that too. We can't leave Ben out of that.
Yeah. So I want to ask this question. It is in my inbox. People want to know. You did address it online. Ian wanted to wait for you to come on, Adam. You have no idea what's coming, but you do. What was I don't even know how to phrase the question because I want to be fragile. Can we just talk about Zach leaving and Sam coming into the band? And I want to kind of frame this with Sam, welcome. You're an amazing addition to the band. The musical direction that I've listened to on Nugs is not what I was thinking at all, but super, super cool. I'm like, yeah, I mean, and neither of you have really cut loose yet, which I've also, so it's kind of, you guys are still forming your dynamic. But can we touch on this? Because I do have 4 people from the community inside of my DMs, although it has already been addressed online. Can we talk about the Zach transition and the Sam coming in?
Yeah.
Ian said yes before you came, Adam. So I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, okay.
He's like, no, dude, no, bro. I'm out of here.
I said, I'll start, Adam, and if you want to add anything to it. Yeah, so it has been a transition, but I think like in we're on good terms with him. Obviously he's been our friend for a long time, and we were good friends when we were younger, and like, I think sometimes in life people go in different directions. And this happens with any sort of relationship where the thing that was working once isn't working anymore. And I think internally we all recognize that. That wasn't just something that, it wasn't a one-sided decision. I think me and Adam had a good conversation with Zach, and we kind of realized that we didn't really have the same intentions for the project. And in this industry and in this business, being in a band, like, it's a really, really difficult thing to do. And you have to be super committed and really want the same or a similar thing for it. And I think we all felt like if we wanted to continue to the point that we want to get to, it was going to have to be with people that were aligned. And that's sort of the, that's sort of in a nutshell what spurred our decision.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. I mean, just completely agreeing with the last thing you said. It was really just like the collective vision and like wanting to do the same things that I think kind of like sparked the transition. And well, obviously we've known Zach for a very long time. We've known Sam now for a very long time, because for those who don't know, the four of us actually are the four of us in this call are in a different band called Grime, and we met Sam, which is new metal and grunge music for those who are interested, and it's much heavier than what we normally do. We have known Sam now for like 4 years or something, maybe a little bit less. And I'll just embarrass Sam now that we're on a podcast that people are going to watch. Sam is a remarkably talented person, a musician, and just like a amazing. And it's like, I try to tell him this sometimes to his face, but I'd rather do it on a public platform. He's an amazing guitar player, amazing singer, and we have yet to even really collaborate on songwriting efforts. But like, I've heard the stuff that he's written, and it's really fantastic, and that's got me super, super excited for stuff. So it's like, having Sam on board with us, it goes such a long way. And now feeling like we have this collective vision that we want to just push so much harder and write so much more music and take our music in different directions and find a new sound with a new person, and just being like completely open and accepting to that. I think that's a huge difference with what we've got now. We've got it's this sense of camaraderie that's been really, really good for the band, and Sam is awesome.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. You nailed Justin from the community's question. The only follow-up caveat to his question was, you just talked about the direction of the band. Obviously, you are ramping up making music and your creativity. Are we ramping up touring, boys? Touring. Touring.
Touring.
Touring. You're gonna be on more festival bills this summer. Are we gonna see OTW everywhere?
The immediate trajectory is hitting the studio.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like and I mean immediate trajectory.
Sorry, Justin,
about,
but I like that.
I'm talking about like day like Monday next week. We're in Alex's we're in Alex's little pod right there. It's right in Alex's space with the drums right back there. And we're all gonna be right there, and we're gonna start doing shit. So yeah. And we've got a lot of new music that we haven't even tried playing together yet. And like, my God, if I put a song list together, it's like at least 20 for us to choose from. So I'm like super psyched. And for a lot of us, like, once summer comes around, you get to, maybe not for all of us, but for some of us, once summer comes around, we don't do our side hustles quite as much. And we're going to have a lot of time and brain capacity to be writing and get to the studio and just lay shit down. And I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. And this is our first project really in Alex's new space. And he's been like grinding to make that place like a pristine music studio. So with that one power drill, he's done everything. So I really can't wait. I'm like super excited.
I literally I'm still sweaty because I just took a Sawzall to this beautiful pine paneling that's back there right before I jumped on the call. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Woo!
Small caveat to what Adam said, though. We actually have more shows on the books this year than we did last year, so we are playing more.
I didn't realize that.
And we do have quite a few tour dates booked for the summer. That being said, like, I mean, let's see, we got Homie Collective coming up, we got Fence Post coming up. We're sort of taking a DIY approach to booking right now. We're currently without an agency. If anyone hears this and wants to represent One Time Weekend, hit me up. But
Please.
like, I think if,
What if I represent One Time Weekend? Let's have a conversation after this call. I'm already representing for a couple pretty big artists. All
yeah,
right,
man. Yeah,
Neff, edit that out. We're gonna follow up on that.
Yeah, we're trying to get on some big festivals next year. I mean, we had Northlands this year, which was great. We used to do Peach Fest before that got flushed, but that's definitely a goal for us next year because we've seen the growth that happens when you play at festivals, and that's they're fun. They're fun for everyone, and we bring it. So
fact on fact, you bring it, and let's talk about bringing it, Sam. I'm hearing some opera come. I mean, I don't know what I listened to this morning. I heard notes come out of my speaker, and I was like, what are these boys about to record? So, Sam, I got a question for you.
Mhm.
What are the most technical One Time Weekend songs to learn to play?
Oh, wow. That's a great
You
question.
didn't, I mean, I don't want to pass over Zach. Like, you didn't step into some light shoes, right? Like, he is an amazingly talented musician, and I love,
Yeah.
and it's so awesome to hear that everyone was just agreeing that we were like, we wanted, that makes me feel good that it was just like a mutual. But Sam, you stepped into big shoes. What are the most technical songs the fans want to know?
I mean, when I first joined, it was like Adam and Ian sent me like a Google like just document of like 25 tunes, and luckily it was like a spot in the calendar where I had enough time to just like chill for a bit and learn these tunes. But it like I have like a note on my notes app. I color code the severity of like the tunes, so it's just like blue and green are like pretty easy, yellow, and then orange, and then red. And it was just like some of these tunes were like ridiculous. Soda Pop Jesus, just like the whole like Latin groove breakdown was a little daunting at first, having to lock up with Adam at the end. I mean, like there are some songs that I learned that I've yet to perform with the guys, like Oyster Choice. That one just comes out with like incredible harmonized arpeggios that I had to learn, and I was just like all over the place. And Power Trip has some great lines. The intro is super intricate. There's so much. Before I joined the band, I was a fan, but being thrust into the ocean of like this incredible body of work that these guys had already created was not an easy task to get my hands and my head around. But I know that was a long roundabout answer of these guys write really awesome stuff.
We threw you in there, man.
It was rather difficult at first, but I was certainly up for the challenge, and it's been an incredible musical ride trying to get all these tunes under my fingers, for sure.
I would like to add that at no point did we have a rehearsal with Sam where he brought a brand new learned song to the table and we needed to really work on it. He kind of just had every single one of them down right from the rip. I would like to give him that credit. He's done a really fantastic job. He really, really has.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah, of course.
All right, I'll give somebody else a question here. This is one of my favorites. It's possibly my favorite. Claire, I posted it in the group this morning. Why only one time a weekend? Why not 2 or more times?
The common
Adam,
question
right?
is why we chose our band name. And it's really not an intricate question or an intricate answer. There's no deep meaning behind it. It's essentially just the name of, like, I think the first song. Actually, that song was written before I joined the band.
Yeah.
Because I was of our first 4 core members, I was the last to join. I was there before I even got there. So maybe I'm not the best to answer that, but I think that our band name comes because it was the name of our first song. And yeah, I think that was it.
But is that the question?
No.
That's not the question.
No,
it's
the question's never to be answered. I think it's just a riddle.
I think the short answer is probably the economy. I mean, 2-time weekend would be
expensive.
Way too expensive.
Yeah. Ticket sales are hard as it is. I mean,
oh my God.
And everything. All right. Oh, let's do this, and then I think I'll bail out of these. Well, no, I like these questions because it's a really good direction for you guys. What artist, albums, songs have you been listening to? And I can add on to this because I don't think anyone knew that you're heading into the studio. I guess I would add on to this question. What preparatory work are you gents doing, knowing that you're about to step into this place that clearly Alex has poured a lot of love, blood, and sweat and tears into for you guys to go record? Is there music that you listen to? Are there routines that you engage in? Do you explore other artistic, avenues when you know that you're about to go and create?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tackle this. I think a lot of it comes down to organization for this stuff. I mean, I know that myself, Adam, and Sam have music that has been sort of building up over the years that we haven't even gotten a chance to record. So there's a lot of stuff that's already been done. There's a good amount of stuff that is half finished, and then there's some stuff that's like kind of up in the air as to how it's going to be written and produced. But I think a lot of it comes down to just making sure that you know what your direction is, but you're not too hyper vigilant about getting like the same results for every song. And me, Adam, and Alex talked about that yesterday. I think our approach to it is the mailman. I think our approach to it is is that we're going to be live tracking as much as possible, and then doing overdubs as we see fit. But to kind of just capture that live one-time weekend sound, as well as efficiency-wise, like getting stuff done right off the rip all together is very, very efficient for recording. So as far as like staying inspired, I mean, I think we all listen to music every day. I don't know if I necessarily have any other creative outlets other than writing and playing music that I focus on when I'm in the studio. Yeah.
Let's do this. Last song remembered, played by each of you. Go ahead, Ian.
What's the
last song? What's the last song you can remember listening to on Spotify or wherever you stream music?
Oh,
we'll do this for them.
I just listened to a song today that I found yesterday called Rye Whiskey by the Punch Brothers. Yeah, I was blown away. Like, just, I think it's Chris Thiele on in that band, and he's just he's a force. So that's mine.
Alex.
You know what? I'm going to give you this. I haven't really done a lot of listening to Spotify over the past couple days, but because I've been working on the studio. But I did just go and see Paul Simon, which was kind of a bucket list thing of mine. He's one of my favorite songwriters ever. It was beautiful. It was at the Beacon Theater in New York. It was absolutely beautiful. And so his encore, the last song he played of the night, he did an encore with the band and then did a second encore by himself and just played The Sound of Silence, just him and his guitar, which he's he's 84 years old. I'm not going to tell you he sounded like Paul Simon in his 30s vocally, but his delivery of a piece of music, he could have hit every note wrong, and his delivery of his, which he obviously didn't at all, like it was amazing, but his just hearing a songwriter deliver a piece, because I mean everyone covers Paul Simon songs. We've covered Paul Simon songs. We've played a bunch of, like, but to hear the artist who wrote it do it, especially someone that legendary and that talented, you could have heard a pin drop in the theater. And it was also very inspiring too, because he's a huge lover of percussion, a huge user of percussion, particularly world percussion, ethnic percussion, and that's kind of what I try to bring to this. I play all kinds of stuff, but as a percussionist, I like to kind of take some of the world music background that I have and use it. Not necessarily, it's like, it's not like we're playing rumba, it's not like we're playing bomba or bembe or anything like that. But if you can take, something like that and put it into something like undertow, it's kind of like putting the salt and the pepper and the spices on top of the thing that's already been created once it comes out of the oven. So that was a cool experience, and I think it ties into to how do you get inspired to go into the studio? It's by watching and listening to stuff like that.
Didn't see that coming, did you, Sam Martin? I'm gonna call him out because I love him to death. That's a heater. All right, go ahead, Adam. Adam, go.
The last time I listened to music was yesterday, because my family was driving back from Newport, and I was driving, and myself and my brother were choosing the music. So we had a pretty steady rotation of Metallica, Kendrick Lamar, and this was funny. We listened to like an hour of the Bruce Faulkner themes from Dragon Ball Z. We listened to like a good hour of it, and they're really fucking good. So
Awesome.
that was actually kind of inspiring. I'm not gonna lie. There's some really good moments.
It's not in the wait. What's that song that you always soundcheck with on the back of a Wizard's Dream?
Oh yeah, and we also listened to "The Magic of the Wizard's Dream" by Rhapsody. And if anybody doesn't know that song, they should listen to it. It's an incredible, life-changing song. I play it every time we're on tour, and I always soundcheck it these days because it's just
we can embed it. We can embed it into the show notes. For
yeah,
this
please.
episode.
Yeah, that'd be the intro music, please.
Yeah.
Sam.
I have two answers. When I was at the gym this morning, I was listening to the British prog metal band Haken. And they rip, and their guitar players are insane. It's great weightlifting music. But most recently, before I got on this call with y'all, I was indeed practicing One Time Weekend songs, specifically Here to Stay, because I have to play and sing on that. So literally before this call, I was playing One Time Weekend and listening to them.
Yeah, that's off the new EP that we just put out.
Oh, what a transition!
Yeah,
I was about to scream, prove it. So, yeah. So let's go there. I want to do this first. Let's cover this hair stuff, and then I want to go into the direction that you guys are going into. So, Steve wants to know. Brian's not here, but how often does Brian trim his mustache to keep it so amazing? Do any of you know? You seen him on tour trimming that thing up?
No.
It's a secret. No one's going to speak on his hygiene, Steve. Sorry, that one's getting kicked. Ian, how do you keep perfect hair? Product?
No, I guess I just
he's going to say something mystical.
I just stand under a waterfall and rub my head. No, I don't know. No, I wash it like every few days. I don't try not to wash it every day. Long hair, can't wash it every day. find products that don't have a bunch of crap in them. Yeah, I guess that's and then sacrifice a couple babies now and then.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Sacrifice.
Just for the sake of this podcast episode, if any of you out there are into the cosmetology space and are interested in any holistic products, Ian and the rest of the band may be interested in sponsoring some of your products. If they're holistic, no animal testing. I'll put that out there.
Human testing is okay, though.
Human testing is perfectly fine. Festival testing is recommended.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of that, with the new EP drop and what you boys have coming up this summer, can we dive into the direction of the band now that you boys are getting? I mean, I just want to acknowledge this. So when Adam talked about going to the studio, it wasn't like, for those of you who are just listening, he like almost came out of his chair when he was talking about getting to Alex's house. So like, it was like, I was watching you like a dog out of a cage set to make music. Can we talk about the direction, what's coming down the pipeline for you boys?
I think Sam should take this one.
So do I.
Oh.
I mean, I don't really know. We have gotten together before this last sort of string of shows that we've played, and we had gotten together. Adam and Ian and I brought different pieces of music that we've been working on, and so we're starting to build some ideas off of some new material, and it's all sounding good. I personally am, wondering how some of my stuff, just being so new in the band, will integrate itself into the sound and everything. But what we've rehearsed and have been working on sounds really exciting and fun, and it's all a very encouraging environment, which is super helpful. So it's almost like bring anything and everything kind of a mentality, which, as musicians, is like the most freeing thing you can do. So it's like, don't be scared or don't be hesitant. And we actually had a conversation like last week. It's just like, if you want something of yours to be on the record, you gotta fight for it. So it's like, there's no space to be hesitant. Like, if you want something that you wrote, or you want to bring something, you want to work on it with everybody, you gotta bring it, and you gotta believe in it, kind of a thing. So I'm really excited about the stuff.
Can we 2.0 that? I want to interrupt you and just 2.0 that to answer a fan question from here. And so when you're talking about playing the music and joining the band, right? My love of One Time Weekend came from their title track, and it came from sitting on the floor of a disgusting ass venue. It was gross. And I sat there with everybody in the venue while they played this title track, the One Time Weekend. And it was my first experience of them. And of them. I'm like, I just got goosebumps. I'm like interviewing you now. And I sat on the floor. And then when we came up, and my experience of One Time Weekend, and then over and repeat and repeat and repeat. I mean, I call out Dr. Funk everywhere I go. So when you see me, I will scream it from the hills. Can you talk about, Sam, the experience addition that you're going to bring to the band? And then as part of that experience, the communication that you've had with them in studio and such, what's your communication on stage been like as you start to work into this experience of seeing One Time Weekend?
Oh, wow. That's a big.
That's
No
my
pressure.
question.
Harder.
It's my question. So
just to split it into two parts, I guess, experience outside of One Time Weekend. I have been, which I'm sure the other guys have similar kind of stories. I've been in bands since I was like, 18, and sort of seen like the rise and fall of different musical empires, and I'm just a giant guitar nerd. And so I try to learn as much as I can on the guitar just to be more adaptable, I guess, to different situations. And which helped me, for the previous question, helped me be able to sort of get my brain and fingers around their body of work before joining the band, but then also experience on stage is, at this point, it's I guess I would call it 60-40. 60% I feel comfortable with all of the arrangements and stuff, and not needing like to remember different parts or something. Mainly just keeping my head up to look for different like verbal cues or hand cues and stuff like that. So 60% I feel comfortable with the majority of the catalog of stuff we're playing. 40% I'm still like, oh, is there a bar of like 7/8 here, or is there a transition I need to remember, kind of? But like with anything, the more and more you do it, the better you get, and the more confident you get. And so it's, but again, playing into the aspect of having played with all of these guys for a few years now, it's never, I never feel like a fish out of water, even though I may forget certain parts. It's never like, I never feel stranded. It's always, we're all on the same, whatever you want to call it, train car.
Train wreck.
Yeah, train wreck, exactly.
Yeah.
I hope that answered your question.
To add to Sam's thing, I think one thing that we noticed right away with Sam was like, yes, he learned the parts, but he learned them in a way that also showed his personality and his voice, I guess you would say, but not just his voice, but his voice through his instrument, which is something that we were really hoping for. And it's kind of wonderful to see that with our music, because, you can't replicate something perfectly that has already happened. So the best that you can do is take what exists and
make it your own.
Make it your own. Exactly.
He's like totally done that, and it's really cool. So it's like those parts are now Sam, and that's awesome.
Yeah, agreed. And then I think you're actually asking a little bit about like, how do we cue things on stage, right, Mark? Was that
that's part of the question, and he answered it with nods and this and that. But yeah, if you want to go a little deeper to it, I mean, that it is a question that came up a couple times in the group, and I have it as well. I mean, I watch for it every time I see you guys live, like, if Adam looks up or what, whatever it is,
yeah.
I'm watching for it. So do you guys have set?
I think it's usually like more musical than like with our eyes or like hands or like anything. Like, it's just like, I can speak between me and Sam, for example, is like often we've played enough shows now where we've noticed between each other, like not even really trying to do it. It's like, if we're in an improvisational section, like a jam section, it's like Sam will play something and I will feed off of what he's playing, whether it be rhythmically or like melodically. And he's doing the exact same thing with me. Like, oftentimes like repetition is really huge. So like if somebody plays something different, but repeats it over and over again, it's like, that's kind of our vessel to create something on the spot. Mm-hmm. Because now we have an idea of this like melodic motif or even rhythmic motif. Like, we'll do it with Alex too, or we'll do it with Ben. And it's something that we're now building an idea off of, like, right on the spot. So I actually don't think it's a lot of like eyeballs. Eyeballs are more so to be like, hey, the chorus is coming. Like, we got to play this part. Like, but if it's like improvisational. It's all sound. I don't think we're really communicating with our eyes. It's just
we sometimes do a talkback microphone. But that's kind of not really been a thing recently. And
we had a phase.
I found benefits to that you wouldn't necessarily get through just like body language, but also there's a certain like purist,
I was gonna say it's a distraction in the art. In the art, I would say.
Yeah, it can be an asset and it can be a distraction. It depends on how much you use it, or how you use it rather. But like, for example, I found like even just listening back to our Northland show, or just in any show that we play, like especially when we play with Ben, because we've been playing with him since, before. I don't even know if I have my license yet. I don't think I could drive a car, but when I started playing with Ben, so I like he'll do things that I don't even I subconsciously realize he's going into a different beat, and I'll change my bass line around, like, and it's just because you've learned to read someone's musical playing as if they're speaking to you and you're about to guess what they're going to say next. And sometimes, fish, potato, pancake, like you don't know what they're going to say, or sometimes you can kind of guess the next thing that comes out of their mouth. And it's sort of learning to read that person's language. And the more you get to play with someone, the better you understand.
Yeah.
I could go. Do you want to say something, Alex? Go ahead.
I also think the level of communication on our live shows has been upped by the fact that we're now touring with our own audio equipment, and for the most part we're using in-ear monitors now, and I can feel a huge difference. Like occasionally we get into a situation where for some reason we can't use the in-ears and I have to go back to a wedge mix, and it's a lot more difficult to have good musical communication when you're relying like we did a show not that long ago where I was fed a wedge mix with none of Adam's guitar in it, and I got through the show by singing Adam's parts in my head from memory, because that's what you got to do sometimes. And we've done this enough now to where I know his parts, like his there are definitely big sections that are of songs where the guitar work is improvisational, but then there are sections where it's a defined melody or a defined guitar harmony part that is through composed, and you know what it is, and you can sing it in your head just like you would a vocal melody. And I'll hear that in my head and say, all right, he's playing this. We know for a fact that this part's coming next. So it's like having a conversation in a way to, sometimes you wing it and sometimes you utilize phrases that and that you've used a million times. And it's the same thing with music. It's great. I think, being able to hear each other on stage and really respond in that way is huge. So we, the guys recently made the investment in some equipment we now tour with that lets us do that. And I feel it's upped the game in a major way to really be able to hear, because now we also control our own monitor mixes too.
And we can reliably record all of the shows now too and put them on Nugs and Bandcamp, which is awesome too.
Yeah, it's my study of bands and artists and music it's really fascinated me. It's the ultimate purpose chaser's grind to be a musician. As my friend produced by Neff is, a world-renowned producer in New York now, but his climb of 10 years of banging his head off of everything to get where he's at. It's like, I want to say this for those of you listening, tune into this question. So if anyone is coming to see you specifically at Fence Post or the Homie Collective or the two that you dropped, so I want to shout them out, and I have homies that are involved in them. I want to drop them. What's the greatest way that individuals can support you one-time weekend? Because I think this is often overlooked, and I talk to artists over and over, and they say the same exact thing. But it's overlooked by us as fans. I think that my job is done once I've sweat and danced with you and I paid for my ticket. But no, I want Adam to stop having to do a second, third job or whatever. Like, I want you guys to be able to, as a fan, to be able to go full time on music. Can you touch on this? It's such a risque topic, but I'd love to hear your perspective and kind of wrap the interview with that. How the fans support, how can fans really support you as you go out and do this next push with Sam and this new artistic energy?
Give us your money.
No,
no,
not that.
I would say no. What I would say, seriously, the best thing you could do: tell your friends, because we've toured pretty extensively, and in 2023 we toured very extensively, and all over the northeast, southeast, going out west. And the best thing that happened is when we'd go out to some place we'd never played before, play a room for 5 people. And that wasn't the best thing that happened. The best thing that happened is then we'd go back to that place later in the year and play another room for 30 people or 40 people, because people told their friends. They came to see the show. They liked what they heard. I mean, yeah, you can buy the merch. I guess I wasn't completely joking about give us your money, but the best thing that you can do is to try to fill the rooms, because when you fill the room, one, we play better. When there is a great audience in front of us and we're feeling that interaction, we play better. And then the people who run those rooms see that go down, and we get bigger and better things, and we advance. So tell your friends. And it doesn't cost any money to do that either. If you believe in it, tell your friends.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And like a post online and at One Time Weekend. If you enjoy their new music that just dropped, go tell them about it online. Go share it online. It goes a long way for the algorithms, as I am an internet nerd. Like inside of the group and the community, like my goal of this interview was to really fire that Facebook group up and to also benefit my podcast, right? So it's a mutual leveraging.
Totally.
So I'm really, really, Alex, thank you for hitting on that. I don't want to hold you guys forever. I would love to have you guys back. I don't even know how to ask the 4 of you the same question.
Maybe you ask us and we'll all answer at the exact same time.
Yeah, I think you should. All right. So
peanut butter.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's got to be creamy.
No, peanut butter. All right, get it off the dog. Get the dog out of here. All right, we're back. As a purpose chaser, I am on a quest, right? Like I have been called to do something, as you have artists have been called to do. There are blocks that come up all the time, which are going to cause me as a purpose chaser to tell myself no. What keeps each of you going? And it doesn't have to be that deep, but it is.
I already said my answer.
Peanut butter.
Go ahead.
We all just really love music a lot. And if we didn't have performing careers, we would be playing at the bar for nobody. Well, maybe not nobody, but just taking the free gig and just going off and playing for a couple people, because we just really love performing music. And we would really love writing music. It doesn't matter if it's like tiny or if it's huge, the project that we're working with. It's just like we're just gonna do it no matter what. I don't want to not do it. And we already have a pretty awesome platform to do it. So I don't really intend to ever give up, to be honest with you.
It's a good answer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all of us are lifelong musicians. There's no reason for us to stop playing our instruments and become lawyers.
Yeah, can't really stop now.
Yeah, can't really stop.
No.
Yeah.
You also there's I've done a zillion different things in my life and had a million different hobbies, but I found through all of them there's no mastery of this thing. Like trying to play an instrument, trying to sing, trying to channel music through your body. There's no mastery of that. it's such a broad topic. It's such an all-encompassing topic. It's like a world language made up of every world language rolled into one, and you want to try to learn as much of it as possible. So
then you have the live music experience, which you then have the pressure of pleasing the fans that have then come to see you through your performance. That's got to be a lot of pressure.
I play Broadway shows for my living. I've played one Broadway show probably 400 times at this point. And people ask all the time, why do you keep doing that? And it's like, well, every time I've tried to just get a little bit better at it. It's a little bit better, a little cleaner, a little more precise, a little more dynamic. There's no mastery of it. So I feel like this is something you can chase your entire life and never get sick of.
Yeah.
No matter.
So beautifully said, Alex. I love that.
For me, I think it's also, it's, you know, within that direction that Alex is speaking on, like it's sort of in the same way that like an athlete might pursue perfection or excellence. Like it's, for me, I found, especially as I get older, like I really want to be better at what I do every day, and like that dedication and just being prepared and dedicated and practicing, and like there's like a certain joy that I get out of that. I don't know what the right word is. Like mindfulness, peanut butter. Yeah, like mindfulness, I guess, or just intentionality about what I'm doing. And then there's also this, like, on the creative side of it, there's this like exploration of yourself, and especially through songwriting, just being like, I didn't know that I could pull that out of me, and I'm really happy that I can. And like it's like, oh wow, I feel like I'm more dimensional than I realize. And this is probably the same for anyone that writes music, but you just sort of discover a little bit about yourself every time you pick up an instrument.
Yeah.
Well, I will end the interview there. I am so grateful, and I just want to say, like, I'm really encouraged and inspired and appreciative of the professionalism of all of you, like being here. Just thank you. I mean, you show up in a way that I've not experienced with all musicians and bands, and I'm just really grateful to get to highlight you on the internet and continue to watch you. I just got to say this to end this episode, Sam. I cannot wait until that 60 meets that 40, baby, because I don't know, when you don't need permission anymore, this thing, I mean, I'm really excited of the direction of the band. And if you don't know the reference that Sam made early on, grime, you will hear this other band that they've been a part of in One Time Weekend. If you go listen, you'll be like, oh, that's where that came out of. Like I had him lost his mind out of nowhere. Yeah, that's from that. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on. I'm just full of gratitude and appreciation for you.
Our pleasure. Thank you, man.
My pleasure.
Anytime.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Purpose Chasers podcast. If you're ready to take action, don't wait. Head over to thepurposechasers.com to access notes, resources, and a host of other tools to keep you moving forward. And if you want to supercharge your digital presence, visit scaletosaleconsulting.com to partner up with my team and amplify your impact. Let's turn your purpose into your biggest asset. Until next time, keep chasing, keep creating. Your purpose awaits.